and welcome back to episode 32 of Sequel Pitch, the podcast where four film enthusiast friends review movies that don't have sequels and have a contest to see who the host thinks has the best idea for one. My name is Drew Toynbee. As always, it's my pleasure to be back hosting this week, and joining me once again today to discuss the movie and pitch me their sequels are the hero battling to make sense in all of this chaos, Andy Henry.
I am the one. Hello.
The sweet, naive kid who just might pull through and save the day, Matt Rushton.
Is it the red pill or the blue pill?
And the ever-present, all-consuming evil force that is trying to take over the world by assimilating it into his horrifying, grinning form, Ross Harmston.
Mr. Toynbee, you look surprised to see me.
That is very good. Very,
the most
very
accurate
good.
description we've ever had.
Yeah. So this episode, we're getting properly into the Christmas period in the most appropriate way by watching a movie about a small band of humanity holding out against an ever-encroaching force coming to destroy their very existence.
Nothing
Basically,
screams Christmas like that, does it?
Yeah, it's basically how I feel trying desperately to avoid Christmas music in November.
Yeah.
To be ever so slightly clearer, we have watched The Matrix Revolutions, and frankly, we've all watched The Matrix and The Matrix Reloaded beforehand as well. Directed by the Wachowski sisters, Lily and Lana, and starring the internet's favourite human being, Keanu Reeves, alongside Carrie Anne-Moss, Laurence Fishburne, and Hugo Weaving, among others. So, as always, before we get to our review section, just in case any listeners haven't seen the movie, we do a pretty quick but not 60-second summary of the movie so that you know what we're talking about when we do the sequels. But this film, you have to do the second film and this one, and you really have to do the first one and the second one and this one.
Take a seat,
So I'm going
listeners.
to do the trilogy summary. I've made it as quick as I can, but you want to get the important details. And there's a lot of them.
Right.
So,
I'll go put the kettle on.
okay. Yeah, go for it. I'm going to start that now. So, the first movie, The Matrix, 1999. Keanu Reeves plays Thomas Anderson, or as he prefers to be known, Neo. He is a hacker who discovers by taking a red pill offered by very cool leather daddy Morpheus and his very hot friend Trinity that human beings live inside a computer program that they are kept in so that the machines in the future can harvest their energy like batteries. Neo is in fact the One, a prophesied being who, once freed, can control the Matrix. Neo trains but is unsure that he's the One, but through his love for Trinity and self-sacrifice for Morpheus, he overcomes his nemesis, the computer program Agent Smith, and takes on the mantle of the One, gaining a bunch of superpowers. It's very cool. Also, the heroes murder a bunch of innocent human beings, and the movie justifies that.
Yeah, but they say that they're the enemies in the Matrix. They get away with that.
Oh, no, they
you know?
say
this
that
isn't
they-
like
they say
Batman
they
versus
can-
Superman.
Not a security guard in just a fucking
Yeah, exactly.
building.
They
that
say they just
they
go, no.
pepper with-
Anyone could become an agent, so you better shoot
Yeah.
them. And they
Fucking
do
get
it
rid
in
of them
such
all.
a cool way that we don't mind. So the second movie, The Matrix Reloaded, released in 2003, is set 6 months after the events of The Matrix. Neo has been freeing more and more people. He's in a relationship with Trinity. Neo can fly and do amazing superhuman things, but he's still not invincible. The humans discovered that the machines are mounting an assault on the last human city, Zion, and they will be there in 72 hours. One of the final ships that remains within broadcast range of the Matrix encounters a new incarnation of Agent Smith, who was exploded at the end of the last film. He takes over the digital projection of crew member Bane, which seems to take over his physical body as well. Ooh. Neo discovers that he needs to find a person who is a program in the Matrix called the Keymaker, who can get him access to the source of the Matrix using keys to open back doors, because coding, lol. Neo and crew work together with two other crews to destroy two power stations at the exact same moment Neo opens a door, or a bomb will go off unless they do that. One of the crews fails and Trinity goes in instead, but she gets chased by an agent and gets shot whilst Neo is having a meeting with the Architect, a white-bearded man who is actually the program who designed the Matrix. What he finds out is that there have been 5 versions of the Matrix before this one. The Architect confirms that humanity as a collective can only exist in the Matrix for so long before the system has to be reset. or it will crash, killing all of the humans and therefore all of the machines. Neo, as the One, was designed to come here to meet the architect and handpick, I think, 24
23.
people?
23,
people.
16 women and 7 males.
There we go. Little creepy, but that's fine. And he's meant to go there, take those people out of the Matrix and restart Zion, and the cycle will start again. So it turns out Neo being the One is just another level of control within the system. But Neo decides not to reset the simulation. He goes back to save Trinity, which could doom all life on the planet, machine and human. He succeeds in saving Trinity, but then their ship is destroyed in the real world. But Neo then finds that he can control and feel machines in the real world. And he destroys the attacking machines with his mind. He goes into a coma and is laid on a table next to the survivor of another destroyed ship, the Agent Smith-possessed body of Bane.
Dun dun dun.
Okay, right, here we go. How far? We're 6.5 minutes into the podcast already. That's great. Movie 3, The Matrix Revolutions, 2003. Neo finds that his mind is connected to the Matrix in his coma, and he's been trapped in a train station. There he meets 2 programs who have fallen in love and programmed themselves a daughter. Sati, their daughter, has no purpose, and so the machines that run the machine world would destroy her, so they are hiding her within the Matrix. Trinity and Morpheus manage to free Neo, and we see that Agent Smith has begun to take over more and more programs in the Matrix, like taking over the people who are the physical representations of programs and the human beings who just are milling about like the batteries that they are. He takes over the Oracle, who's been helping our heroes through the films, and gains her power to see the future. The film now follows 3 storylines all the way through to the ending. Morpheus and his ex-girlfriend are flying their ship, the Hammer, back to Zion so that they can use the ship's onboard EMP weapon to explode it in the big dock where the machines are entering and try and save them. The humans in Zion are having a big battle trying to hold the Sentinels back. And Neo and Trinity take a little ship and fly to the Machine City so that Neo can make a deal with the machines, as he knows that Smith is going to destroy the Matrix and he can stop it. Their ship crashes, Trinity dies, and Neo makes his deal. The machines put him back in and he fights Smith, who has taken over literally every other being in the entire simulation. Neo cannot beat him and allows himself to be taken over by Smith. But then the machines destroy Neo's physical body, and for some reason that destroys all of the Agent Smiths.
Wi-Fi, he's connected.
He is connected through Wi-Fi, but that's outside of the Matrix, not in the... But anyway, yeah, we'll cover that in a minute. And so Neo has come good on his bargain. The machines leave Zion alone. The Oracle reveals that Neo's deal means that humans on a subconscious level will be given the choice to stay in the Matrix or to be free. And that's all humans. And that the machines and humans will stop fighting, and there's a beautiful sunset, and it's the end of the film, and my dog is scratching my leg because she wants attention, and now we can begin our review discussion. So let's go. Who wants to get stuck in?
I rewatching these, I really liked them. I when I first watched them back in the day, I had them all on DVD. I quoted every bloody Mr. Smith's lines all the time. There were so many of them.
I would like to have it on record that I think it's your best impression. You're good. You're good at lots of impressions, but it is really uncanny.
Thanks, mate. And then rewatching them weirdly, I really enjoyed them, and I really went deep with it. I don't know why. Usually I'd just be like, nah, no, this is all still weird. But I properly got into it, and I was like, wow, that's such deep. This is so deep. Especially in the second one, especially. Obviously, the first one, they just created a story about a computer program that uses people as batteries with some cool fight scenes. And then I think they wanted to, in the second one and third, they obviously wanted to franchise it and make it a more in-depth story with lots of fucking random shit in it and loads of philosophical stuff and lots of confusing dialogue back then. Especially this is a weird one. Sequel picture people is we're gonna have to kind of talk about all of them. I think not specifically just revolutions, but yeah, like, you know, the whole philosophical debate that he has with the architect. Whereas when I saw that in the cinema, I was just so confused.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I still
I'm confused. What are you on about? Nothing's changed. I'm still so confused.
Kind of confused, but I sort of followed it. I was like, okay, so there's 5 Neos that have failed before, or have picked to go back into the Matrix, or like to pick 16 people to repopulate. Which is weird, because I'm like, also, why is there more males than there are? No, there was more.
16 females, 7 males.
Yeah, so that's weird. But yeah,
birds and the bees, Ross. We don't need to go into that.
I imagine, like, it wouldn't surprise me to learn that that's been worked out to be like the exact number of males and females that you would need to be able to have a diverse enough gene pool, or something along those lines.
But and before, I thought, you know, the CGI was a bit ropey when I first watched it in Reloaded, with the Agent Smiths all over the place. But watching it again, I was like,
It's still pretty ropey. I like watching it in the.
No, I'm sorry, I'm defending it. Like, for its time, I think CGI. That scene at the end of the fight, where the fight itself, the CGI is a bit ropey, but that last scene where there's just 100 Hugo Weavings on your screen, I watched that and I was like, "Fucking hell, you couldn't pull that off any better now." I don't think the way that not the bit where they're fighting, I get it. That's
too
a bit
hard to
green
do.
screen.
Not a fucking animate or anything like that, but I think they've just copy and pasted it.
Go on. Okay, there you go.
Like,
Andy's called it. Andy's going to make us that with 100 Andy Henry faces and showing that it's really easy to
If any of
do.
our listeners
surely,
know
like-
the Corridor Crew,
get 'em
just
on.
tell them Andy's going to
It's
challenge
easy.
them to
Fucking
remake
easy,
the
son.
Agent Smith scene.
oh my god, that'd be
I liked
amazing.
it.
It'd just be a Play-Doh, little Play-Doh Andy Henry.
I'll be honest, I agree with Andy I agree with both of these
It was good
comments,
for its
actually,
time,
because I think I do think that it was good for its time, but I think the digital doubles of the people, like, there's something about the weight of the animation and the fidelity of the models that just it's very uncanny valley. However, the CG of the Sentinels in the dock, like, that, and the hammer flying through those tunnels and being chased and flying down, it's flawless. That was absolutely flawless, and that was 18 years ago, nearly 19 years ago.
I've heard like fan theories about why the CG is really bad, like, because it says that the Matrix is slowing, can't deal with it, so that's why it'd rather the actions inside the Matrix be smooth and lower the resolution of
There's such a bad shot.
I was like, well, that's just saying that the animation was shit, and they were just like,
it's a good excuse, to be fair. If they kind of put that in the marketing, I probably would have believed it. But the shot when they're in the rain and it's slow motion and Smith is punching Agent Smith. He's punching Agent Smith in the face, and then he's doing to him. Yeah, it looks like potatoes or something. It's just that bit is pretty bad.
I disagree.
Going
with
through the rain, that looks cool, but the actual skin tone and stuff, I was a bit like, remind me of the in the second one. Sorry to talk about the second one, but when he's fighting all the Smiths with the pole. Again, kind of good or bad CG, but it's a good game for anyone rewatching the second one. During that fight, just slow the movie down if you can, and figure out when Hugo Reeves isn't replaced. It's so funny just to see loads of maybe 15 people that they've got to do
Australian
people just have done up Hugo Weaving, and you're just like, that guy's got a really long chin. That guy's got a pointy nose. Come on, you're not even trying.
I mean, that's not the weirdest bit of that fight. Like, you hear Skittles being knocked over when he throws the Agent Smith into each other. Like,
I mean, what's Smith made of? I guess
I feel like that's some of the sort of anime manga influences coming through. Just in that someone, I like, whether that was snuck in by an editor or whether that was the Wachowskis being like, nah, shove it in, that'll be funny.
Yeah.
Like, they clearly knew that towards the end of that scene, it was just getting inherently insane.
Yeah.
And they were just like, yeah, fine, fuck it. Who cares?
Like, one thing about the whole trilogy as well that I really like admire now is the fucking work that, like, oh my god, what's his name? Oh my god,
Hugo Weaving?
Keanu Reeves, like, put into the fights, and like, he worked his fucking ass off in those like fight scenes. And
well, not to mention,
well, I mean, everyone did
on the first movie.
Yeah, but like, yeah,
on the first movie, he came into the rehearsal process having just had neck surgery.
And that's why, really?
That's why so much of his fighting in the first movie is his arms, and why he looks kind of weird and stiff, and like he's not turning his head, because he couldn't.
Shit.
And he still did it.
I just put that down to the bad graphics of the Matrix.
No, it's entirely to do with surgery on his neck. Like, yeah, the man's clearly always been a workhorse, but this is obviously the film that turned him into a complete legend. Like, not Bill and Ted, not Speed, it was not Point Break. This is where all of a sudden everyone in the world was like, Keanu Reeves is amazing, and then all of a sudden the stunt team will turn around after filming and go, yeah, you know, he bought every single one of us a Harley Davidson just because he's super sound. Nice, and then everyone just went, wow, he's brilliant, and he continues to be to this day.
And we shouldn't pass the
you even forgive some rather questionable wooden acting throughout some of this franchise as well.
But that, I mean, I guess...
you even forgive all that for all the effort that's put in.
So
there wasn't time for acting classes; they had fighting to do.
What did you like, Matt? You didn't really get it. What do you think about the story in terms of like all the under thing, like the actual through plot line? Like, what did you think of it?
Honestly, I still don't fucking understand half of it. What I really enjoy is that there's a nice narrative where I'm treating Agent Smith in my mind as a parasite, as a virus, and Neo basically turns up and he goes full AVG antivirus software on it, deletes it at the end of the trilogy, and you're like, oh, that's good, my computer works again now. Like, that's how I'm seeing The Matrix. I can't say it any deeper. Like, when I was trying to watch it yesterday and messaging you lot on WhatsApp, I'm like, this is fucking hurting. I used to love Matrix Reloaded. It was one of the more fun of the...
It's the highway
for
scene.
me, it was probably the most fun of the three films. And now it's the one I hate most. I hate that movie now after yesterday's suffering. And now suddenly Matrix Revolutions, which I was like, oh, it's a bit meh. It's kind of like too many movies. But now I'm actually finding myself, I don't think I can ever watch Matrix Reloaded again now. Because that would just piss me off for 2 hours.
I think...
But, you know, it's a great story, and at the heart of it, the whole thing about love, every fucking movie does it.
Saves the day.
But, you know, I think it is wide enough in capturing, like, anyone can enjoy these films, I think. I don't think you have to be a sci-fi nerd to enjoy The Matrix, and that's what's amazing about it. If you love action films, you'll love it. If you love, you know, something with a bit of drama and you're going to enjoy it. Sci-fi, you're obviously going to fucking enjoy it. Like, it's just a franchise that offered something for anyone. And that's what I think I take away from it more than anything. I have loved just putting the Matrix films on and watching them and monging out. I've had too many beers the night before, chuck the Matrix franchise on. And it's a great way to just mong out and enjoy some quality action-packed cinema.
I think like it's a good movie because it allows you to take whatever you want from it, which is like the sign of a good movie. Like, you can take that base level like enjoyment of the movie, but then it has also got so many other layers that you can just be like, no, but what does this mean? No, but also, what does this mean?
What
does this mean?
Stuff written about this trilogy and stuff. There's so much.
Yeah.
So much you
it's
can go
so
in.
vast, like, and so like they've spawned so many video games, books, and stuff, and like it's got such a like it's, for me, it reminds me of sort of like D&D or that sort of world that it's got so many possibilities that the sisters like created this massive world that people love as well, and have so many fan theories about what it means and what this means and what scene this means and stuff like that. That I struggled coming up with because I wanted to go deep. I was like, yeah, I'll go deep. But then I felt I'm not as good as the sisters. I can't do this as good as they do. Like,
but even then, like when you think about it, the first movies 2 and 3 are effectively one giant movie.
Yeah,
you can that is kind of how it was intended. They were released 6 months apart, which is also something that doesn't get mentioned very often. Like doing one a year in sequence is fairly standard now for some releases, but this was 6.
I think I must have seen it
December.
I think I must have seen the second and the third on the same day. Did they? Was the second still out in the third? When the third?
They will have done.
Must have done
features.
both. Yeah,
they will have done double features. But
why not? What a great idea!
The first movie is obviously there are many other themes in there, but it is just in terms of the narrative. It's Neo discovering that the world that he lives in is a method to control the populace, and that he has the ability to break them out, and gaining that ability. And then films 2 and 3 is Neo discovering that the reality that he lives in exists to control humanity once again. Is just another layer of control. And so that's why I'm fascinated to see where it goes again, because obviously they could have made movies 2 and 3 and just been like, yeah, it's the war and it's just 4 hours of people and machines fighting, and arguably it is the most interesting way that they could have taken it. I do absolutely feel that they should, not even could, I feel like they should have made it just a smidge, just a teeny tiny bit more approachable, just a little bit less opaque for general audiences to pick up on. But I think that the direction they took it is a very smart direction to have taken it in. And so, the challenge that you guys have
it was so hard
to either break from the pattern, which is now established, or to do the same again. Yeah. It's going to be really interesting.
Can I ask you guys about the fight scenes? Because we all enjoy the fight scenes and all that lot. But I don't know, maybe it's those lovely superhero movies that everyone loves. Do you remember seeing Captain America in Avengers, and especially in the first Avenger, him fighting? But then the difference when you first saw him fighting in Winter Soldier, when you saw him parachute in and kick that guy, and a guy flew off the side of the boat, and you instantly recognize his power compared to humans. And then they kind of explain it in the first one, where when Morpheus beats Neo in the training program, and Neo's like, "Oh, you beat me because you're too fast and stuff," and Morpheus goes, "Do you really think the size of my muscles and my speed matters in here and stuff?" But for me, I don't know, the fighting was a bit weird, because again, I don't know, maybe I just couldn't gauge their power. Were they all literally, apart from Neo, the same strength? At one point someone would punch someone, but then the same person would punch the same person with the same force, but he'll fly into a wall. It was just a bit weird.
I think it's an interpretation thing, and essentially the humans in the Matrix are quite stronger than the humans not in the Matrix that haven't disconnected.
Yeah.
But then the agents are going to be stronger than the humans because they're the control scheme. But then you've got Smith who's the strongest.
Sorry, Matt. I kept interrupting there. Do you mean in the final fight between Neo and Smith?
No, just in general. I'm trying to think of a time. I can't think of it.
I think it's just style.
Yeah, for me it was a bit like watching it again. Maybe again, superheroes or whatever. Maybe just whatever movie growing. But yeah, it was just a bit off. It just made me think, was Trinity, if Trinity and Morpheus had a fighting spar. Fighting spa sounds great. Would they?
Welcome to the fighting spa.
Calm down.
Would you like a hot towel?
The towel whip.
Some cucumbers on your eyes. You can't see. Bam. Well, yeah, but who would win? Trinity, Morpheus? I don't know. It obviously didn't bother you guys as much, but watch it again. Maybe it made me think.
As I've said, there's 4 tiers. There's humans still plugged in. They're the weakest. The humans that have branched out, the ones that plug into the Matrix, the Trinities, the Morpheus, they're stronger than the humans that haven't disconnected from the Matrix. Then you've got the regular agents because they're the enforcers. Then you've got Agent Smith because he's the head. And then you've got Neo and probably Oracle and Architect, etc. Right, it's a pyramid scheme.
Yeah, but the people fight each other
are,
at the same level and stuff. It's just...
What you want to see is a sort of a fight, a tournament with the people in the Matrix. Why don't you do that as your pitch? The Matrix tournament.
The Battle Royale.
Mortal Matrix.
The Matrix Royale.
All right, I think we're beginning to get a little off track.
Yeah. The only things I didn't like about the movie is I felt that Morpheus didn't really have much of a big role in this one for me. In the third one, sorry. And we've spent a lot of time focusing on heroes in the robot mecha thing that you didn't know anything about. Like, you just got introduced to them in the third movie, and it was just, we're gonna care about these guys. You care about this kid who's putting bullets into things.
His name is Kid.
Is it?
His credits.
Yeah. That is the character's name, and he is the oldest kid in the world. He looks about 42.
Yeah. And the guy who gets serrated by those bloody
what a great
things.
Mifune.
Yeah.
That I think. I don't know. Like, the split, it was very much this is, like you said, Drew, in your sum up. It was like 3 separate stories, which, yes, I guess it needed to happen, but like, I don't know. For me, I didn't really connect with the fight for Zion bit. It was good. It was a cool scene, but yeah.
I'm with you on it. Like, the way that it was shot and the way that it was edited together was my biggest issue, because you kind of dealt with one thing and they were like, right, we'll put the lid on that. Then you had the fight for the docks, right, we'll put the lid on that. Then they went and did Trinity in there. It was like, oh god, this needs some more fluid editing. Like, it was essentially like we had to watch 3 1-hour movies.
Yeah.
That's what the thing. The war was really long, and I kept I was thinking, like, why are they not coming back to Neo and Trinity? But basically, you can't. I don't think you could have cut back to the, because basically when obviously Trinity dies, but then Neo goes and the whole thing happens. You couldn't have like cut. The Trinity's death needed a whole section, so you couldn't have like.
Which is so long.
I know. Yeah.
Fuck me.
He goes
she dies for like 5 minutes.
It's quite funny. He doesn't like see the pipes as well. He's like, oh, look at everything's beautiful.
I mean, he is blind.
Yeah, but he sees everything around him, and then she's like,
no, but
yeah,
he doesn't.
true.
He doesn't see.
No, he sees the light. Sorry,
him.
doesn't he? That's
no.
Is it just the machines?
He only sees the AI baddie machines.
Okay,
that is what he can see. So he can't see his own ship. He can't see the wreckage of his own ship.
At one point, when he's flying in with Trinity, doesn't he say, "Go over there"? I might have just misheard this. I swear he says, "Over there, there's a place for us to dock over by the treetops." And she goes, "Power lines." And he kind of looks at her like, "Yeah, all right." And then they move. Did I mishear that? I swear he said like the trees or the treetops or something. Why would she say power lines?
No trees.
Why would she say power lines?
Because the
he went over by the power lines, and she went, "What, the power lines?" Like, okay, I don't know. Maybe I misheard, but every time I just can't not hear it now. Just treetops. Again,
well,
I don't know why
it. Yeah,
that's why she was like power lines.
But yeah, like I would. The thing that I wanted to see more of in the movies, and maybe I'll do it in my movies, is the machine world. I would have liked to have seen more of that. But you know, you did see the baby face of the machines.
Yeah, why an angry
the
baby?
Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah.
They literally call that character the Deus Ex Machina, which is on the nose. But there we go. I think,
some of the. Yeah, I know. I'm just gonna say one more thing.
All right,
I really liked the fight when they're punching each other with such force that it stops the fucking rain around them. That's fucking cool. And then it starts dripping again. But yeah, anyway.
Carry on. The effect's so nice, they used it thrice.
Yeah.
But yeah, right. I think it's time we do, because we are endeavouring, dear listeners, to try to keep these episodes kind of around an hour, and we have utterly failed that recently. So I'm going to move us on to do super duper quick final thoughts and scores. So I'm going to start. I'm just going to go alphabetically. Andy, your final thoughts and your scores.
My final thoughts, really,
just for Revolutions.
Just for Revolutions. Okay, well, I like to say, I really like the first one, really like the second one. I think the third one was let down. Ross said an interesting thing before. He wanted to see he just wanted to see more Matrix in this, and I forgot to time how long that war section is, because I swear it's like 40 minutes. But maybe it would have been interesting in the second film if Agent Smith took over the entire Matrix then, and the third film was more dedicated just to Neo and his opposite in that fight. But I said I was fine. It was, it just wasn't as enjoyable as some of the things. I didn't like a lot of the things I felt was forced. If you didn't get it, Mobile Avenue is limbo. like they mentioned it like the next scene. I was like, why? Just. But yeah, no, it was fine. I love the idea. Come back to the idea that his name's Tom. Every time someone's like Neo, and he's like Tom. But and we can't not talk about the epic laugh that Agent Smith does. Classic. We are fans of Voldemort's laugh in the Harry Potter, the last one, and that one just takes it's unnecessary. Who told him to do that? Anyway, I'm going to be giving it 3 cookies that need love like everything does.
Okay. Mafu?
We're scoring it just on this movie, not on the fact that it's part of a franchise, right?
Yeah, we have to.
Okay. On that basis, I really enjoy it. There's a lot of things to really enjoy about the movie. I feel like it's a great summary of the other 2 movies. It just should have been done neater. But to score this movie on its own, I'm going to give it 3.5 poles sticking out of Trinity. Because I think it actually is. I think she gets lacerated 3 times with poles, and there's probably a bit sticking out of her ear or something. So 3.5 impaled poles into Trinity.
Oh, dearie me. Ross?
I'm going to give it, on this one, this is not my favourite out of the 2. Reloaded is my favourite.
Used to be mine.
Until it was dashed. I'm going to give it 3.3. This isn't in this movie, but sweaty raves when you know you're going to die in the caves. Out of 5. 3.3.
3.3
sweaty, wet,
stinky death raves. And yeah, for me, I can't. I have to echo what you guys said. Like, there is a great deal to be very impressed with in this film. It is that I mentioned the effects of all of the real world stuff, and I still think is absolutely mind blowing even now. But there's also some really frustrating, effectively plot holes, and just like, if the characters had just done this instead, like, a lot of this death would have been avoided, etc., etc. And so, yeah, I think I'm coming in at 3.25. People hanging over a ledge by their belt to fire rocket launchers.
Yeah,
because they can build hovercrafts, but they can't build homing rockets. So there we go. Which gives us a grand total of 3.26 out of 5. Coming in.
How much more would your score be bringing in all of the trilogy?
I'd probably put another half on.
I wouldn't go up much.
Yeah, it's like the film itself. Yeah, is not great, but if you put the other 2 behind it, I'd put up to 3.5.
Oh, I'd put it up to. I think for me, personally, it would go up to 4.1, maybe 4.2.
I think it adds quite a lot because I do feel like it covers a lot of the key story, the plot holes. It leaves a lot of plot holes from within the one film, but it fills a lot of plot holes.
4.1.
But interesting.
Cool. To me, it's just all third act. It's just all third act.
Yeah.
The second film is like building up to the climax, and then this is just an entire movie of climax.
It sounds like that was the plan.
Yeah,
it sounds like it was meant
climax.
to be the third act, and then they had to do it in 2 movies.
And a lot of it is very impressive, but it's only 3.26 out of 5 impressive.
Drew doesn't like climaxing. That's what we've discovered here.
No, just not with you 3.
Aww.
Give it a chance.
Right. So there we have it. We've got our score. So without further ado, it is time to get your sequels pitched. Right, so the rules of the pitches are simple. You 3 will have your chance to pitch me your idea without interruption from the others, aside from astonished gasps.
Sorry, what was that?
Astonished gasps and laughter, etc., etc. You can explain to me the plot, the themes, everything that happens in between, anything you want to get across to me. I might have a question or two for you. Then we enter the debate phase, where the 3 of you go head-to-head and try and convince me why yours is the one that I should choose at the end of this very, very stressful process. So, to get the ball rolling, I am going to go in the reverse order in which the pitches were submitted. So, first up, we've got Matthew Rushton.
Okay. Oh.
So, Matt, what is the title of your Matrix sequel?
The title of my sequel is Enter the Matrix. Taken away from that very good video game. But nothing to do with the video game.
You can't get that past marketing and censors and stuff. It's already a game.
What the fuck are you on about? It's owned by the same company. Of course you can.
Nope, let me write that down.
God, here we go.
I mean, to be fair to Matt, there were plenty of games called Tomb Raider before the movie Tomb Raider. Yes. And they did that twice. So, right, Matt, you go for it.
Okay, so just to summarise quickly, basically we return into a prosperous Zion that's fully broken out of the darkness, risen above the clouds and looks out onto a new world, but they're also staring at a brand new threat. This is movie 1 of a brand new trilogy, just so you know.
Oh, crikey. Okay. You're doing a Jurassic World on us. Okay.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Or a Star Wars, you know.
Oh, God, which one's better?
No, not a Star Wars.
We'll discuss that another time. We can't do that now. Okay, it's been 20 years since The Reckoning, the events of Neo freeing Zion from the threat of deletion by Agent Smith. The scars of battle remain, but as with humans, they've survived and they've begun to thrive with advances in technology from the Sentinel graveyard and support from the unlikely source, the Machine City. We see regular faces from the